now, right 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 now. Oh, I got a real good feeling.
We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We got to add a little addendum to the show map today. So we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. It always has been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here. Welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your weekly morning show where we bring you the latest and everything Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And in today's episode, we are going to be talking about the major breakout that I believe is going to be coming very soon on Bitcoin. Yes, I think that Bitcoin is about to go through a meteoric rally up to $125,000. And today, I'm going to be breaking down why the low volatility that we're seeing on Bitcoin is going to bring about just that change. As we can see, over the last couple of years, Bitcoin has been on a massive winning streak here, rallying all the way up to $112,000. And one of the indicators that we watch very closely here on the channel is none other than the 3 daily chart Bollinger Bands. The 3 daily chart Bollinger Bands are so very important because they show us when Bitcoin is moving into this period of high volatility or this period of low volatility. And the reason that this is very significant is because, you know, before the rain comes the sun and after the rain comes the sun, right? You know, we move back and forth. The markets are cyclical. They move from periods of high volatility to periods of low volatility. And so what we are witnessing right now is a period of extremely low volatility. Bitcoin has become very tightly wound in here over just the last couple of days. And so when we see this low volatility, this shows us that Bitcoin is coiling up. It's constricting, it's constraining, it's getting itself ready for a major breakout. And so I want to talk a little bit about what is going to happen soon based on this volatility being extremely low. We're going to look at several different technical indicators today. We're going to look at several different technical indicators today. We're going to do an overall market recap. And after that, I'm going to go over some strategies that I want you to consider employing in your investing, and also some strategies I want you to consider employing in your trading. So without much further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. First thing that I want to discuss is a quick rundown for anybody who might be here for the first time. What's going on with Bitcoin? Guys, I am a technical analyst. I look at charts. I look at candles. I look at indicators. I've been doing it for almost a decade now. It's one of my favorite things to do is to analyze this market. And there are a number of different indicators to look at. One of the first ones I want to show you is the 23 daily exponential moving average. Then we're going to look at this on the weekly chart. This indicator is very significant because it gives us so much confidence about where Bitcoin is going. This entire time that Bitcoin was in a rally, from the point that we confidently broke above and then had a little back test on the 23 daily exponential moving average to the point where we had a confident break south beneath it and then a back test to it, we saw Bitcoin in major corrective movement, in a major rally. So we saw Bitcoin in a rally between the time that we confidently broke above the 23 daily exponential moving average, and we were in a confident uptrend until we confidently broke below it. If we zoom in here a little bit, you'll even see the back test. We rallied through the 23 daily exponential moving average would be the term. Sorry about that. We back tested back down to the 20 here. We'll just call it the 20. Then we ended up going on this major rally. Here, you can't hardly see it because of this vertical line, but we fell on a candlestick, on a candle wick, far below the 23 daily moving average here. Came back tested it, used it as resistance, and fell here. Very similar thing happened not that long after, except we didn't have a back test. We broke through the 20, we went into a major rally, and this was basically telling us when we were in the uptrend or the downtrend. And so what we've seen here is that Bitcoin has been very much following this moving average. And what we're almost seeing right now is almost that little bit of a back test. Bitcoin has dropped back and back testing the 20 moving average in a similar way that it did here. except it's on a much grander scale. Instead of looking at the course of a couple of weeks, Bitcoin instead is looking at the course of several months. We originally broke through, back tested, went on a rally. Here we broke through. Now we're back testing. Now we're going to most likely go on a rally because we're seeing the exact same setup. Bitcoin right below all-time high. Because notice, I mean, this looks like a big rally, but compared to what we did back here, not really, right? We are back testing down to the 20 below all-time high, which is exactly what we did right here for a run as we depart from the 20 to go into a major rally. So we'll just go ahead and kind of draw for you what this is most likely going to look like. It's most likely going to look like some more sideways trading, and then we're probably going to break out moving into September to October up towards approximately $125,000 to $135,000, and that's going to be as a result again of that inverse head and shoulders pattern, and it's also being predicated on these other bullish fundamentals that we've talked about. Now, I see a great comment in chat from Mark D saying, looks like the 2021 double top. It kind of does, but there is one thing that's very encouraging to me that makes me believe that this is not the same thing as the 2020 double top, the 2021 double top. When Bitcoin went into the 2021 double top here, we saw that we did not spend much time up above $60,000. We were making content every single day on Bitcoin back here. We had a baseline of support around 50,000, and then we had more visible range volume profile support up here at approximately 57,000. So those were our major levels of support. Bitcoin rallied above 57,000, back tested it, rallied again. But what we ended up doing is we set bearish RSI divergence, as you can see here, compared to the uptrending level of resistance there. We set our bearish RSI divergence, and then Bitcoin immediately went into a major corrective movement, dropped below this support level at 57, back tested, again, the 20 exponential moving average here on this time frame, back tested 57,000, rejected off of it, and that's when we knew we were going into a bear market. We essentially knew that we were going into a bear market here moving into 2021, and we really got confirmation here in January and February of 2022, especially after the Russo-Ukrainian war began and after we started to see rampant inflation as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and the ensuing stimulus that followed that. That's not really the story of what we're seeing right here. Instead of seeing these major drops back down below $100,000, then back testing it using as resistance, instead we're seeing Bitcoin spend a lot more time trading up here. We're not seeing a blow off top where Bitcoin just gets absolutely eviscerated like we did here. We saw a major blow off top, got absolutely annihilated. Big blow off top here, absolutely destroyed. Bitcoin rallies, for example, here, 20% in 15 days. After that, we dropped 23% in 15 days. You're not seeing anything like that on Bitcoin. And this is actually kind of back to my point. And that is that the Bollinger Bands are getting ridiculously constricted here and constrained here on the 3-daily chart. And that shows us that there is a great deal of bullishness to come. Back here in 2021, you can see the difference. You can see the Bollinger Bands are very, very, very wide as we're moving into the top up here, indicating that we're breaking through with a lot of volatility, but the volatility never slowed down, indicating that we were able to go higher. For example, here, we went through a major rally, volatility slowed down, Bollinger Bands got more constrained. That kind of signaled the next leg up. We never really saw that here. We didn't see the Bollinger Bands constrict all that much, and by the time we did see them constrict a great deal, we were testing $57,000 as resistance and rejecting off of it. We weren't seeing those constricting Bollinger Bands as the all-time high was being tested. Instead, this time, we are seeing Bitcoin at one of its most bullish levels of all time at 108,000. That's not where it is. That's where we are right now. We're seeing Bitcoin at one of its most bullish levels of all time here at $108,000. It's sitting above multiple strong uptrending levels of support, like right here, and also like right here. And that volatility is very low, signaling a major breakout is coming most likely within just the next couple of days. Now, and by the next couple of days, let's just call it this month, the month of July. I think that sometime this month of July, you're going to see a big breakout. Now, here's the question. Bitcoin's in this ascending triangle pattern. Does that mean that we're going to break bullish? Or is Bitcoin going to break back to the downside, back test $100,000 again, and then rally? If Bitcoin does go back to backtest $100,000, I don't personally see that as something to be concerned about. I see that as another opportunity to load up on cheap Bitcoin in the context of what Bitcoin will be worth in 10 to 15 years, which we give it a price target of between $1 and $5 million per coin between the years of 2035 and 2040. I don't see it as an issue if Bitcoin drops back down and stays ranging sideways here for months. What I would see to be an issue is if Bitcoin dropped back down below $98,000 and started setting lower lows. If we see Bitcoin drop below $98,000 and start setting lower lows, that's where you start to have to wonder, are we going through the same kind of market structure that we saw in 2021? At this point in time, I don't think that's what's going to happen. And the main reason I don't think that's going to happen is because there is a very there's a very different climate about Bitcoin. There's very much more bullishness in the space compared to what we saw in 2021. Many of you guys were not here in 2021. You only see this as the chart. You don't remember what it felt like. I remember at this point in time, this was just a couple of months after El Salvador adopted Bitcoin, and this is right around the time that MicroStrategy was speeding up their adoption of Bitcoin. And that's what the history books are going to tell you. But I lived through it. I remember what 2021 felt like. And what it felt like is it felt extraordinarily boring. All the hype, all the hopium, all of, all the ETF hype about, oh, this ETF was filed, this ETF was filed. Of course, none of them were approved yet. All the DeFi stuff, all of the bullishness. Let's see, what else? All of the Elon Musk buying $1.5 billion of Bitcoin for Tesla. Michael Saylor being orange-pilled and getting in a room with a bunch of Fortune 500 executives and teaching them about Bitcoin. All these different news stories that happened back here, they happened here. They didn't really happen over here. El Salvador kind of came to the party a little bit late. But other than El Salvador joining the party right here at this very top, which was a bad sign because they joined the party and then Bitcoin immediately crashed off of $50,000 resistance. All of that, all of the exuberance, all of the enthusiasm more or less happened in this phase, not in this phase. And so that is where I think we're also in a very different place right now. There's an enormous amount of development going on Bitcoin right here. We don't have anything like that. We don't have this idea of, oh, all the exciting news happened here and there's no exciting news here. Nonsense. There's so much money being put into Bitcoin over here. And I'll show you some more charts for that here in just a minute. In fact, I'll show you one right now. If you go to the Farside Investors and we look at the Bitcoin ETF flows, you're going to see, let's see, where's the chart? It's, they have a chart here. Where's that chart? Here we go. If you look at the total amount of cumulative inflows for the Bitcoin ETFs in February of 2025, which was this last high, right? Not that long ago, it was right over here. February of 2025 was right in here. We saw cumulative inflows approaching $40 billion. At the moment, we have seen that increase to $50 billion. Institutional investment has absolutely skyrocketed. There is an enormous amount of investment going into Bitcoin, and it's not slowing down anytime soon. Let me see if I can find another chart that I want to show you. Versus gold versus Bitcoin. Gold versus Bitcoin. I was going to show this in yesterday's video and I forgot to show it. Here we go. Or maybe I did. I can't recall if I showed these charts on stream. You guys will have to tell me if I've already shown you this. Bitcoin ETF surpasses gold 5 years inflows in 10 months. No demand claims are a mean. This is the amount of inflow into Bitcoin in its first year, which, by the way, you can look at the chart. That chart's outdated. This chart is from like a year ago. Right, this came out 9 months ago. What is 9 months ago? What's that, like November, October? We had 20 billion at the time. So in the first year, we've seen the ETFs online for about 18 months. In the first 2 full years, the first 24 years, first 24 months, the gold ETF saw about $5 billion of inflows. You can see the chart right there. About $5 billion of inflows in the first 2 years. The Bitcoin ETFs have seen $50 billion of inflows in 18 months. By the time 24 months rolls around next January, you're probably looking at $60 to $75 billion of cumulative inflows. That's absolutely insane. How can you be bearish on Bitcoin when the most powerful companies in the world that don't just track the market, they make the market? BlackRock, Fidelity. How do these companies make that big of a mistake? Allow that much money into Bitcoin? How do you not see an enormous rally coming? Okay, so let me continue to build our case here, right? We've got literally 10x the investment in Bitcoin that we had in gold. What did gold do? If we go look at GLD, what did gold do after the ETF was launched? Well, let's just get our dates right here. GLD ETF launch date. It was, I think it was 03, was it? It was 04, sorry. November 18th of 04. The SPDR Gold Shares GLD ETF launched on November 18th, 2004. Cool. So let's go back and look at what happened in 2004. Well, we're looking at the SPDR anyway, so that'll just go back here. So this is the actual, sorry about that. This is the actual chart. So we don't even need to look at the date because we're not looking at spot price. We're looking at the ETF itself. This is what happened to gold after the ETF. Vertical for 7 years. By the way, this is why I got a little confused here because I thought we were going to look at the spot price. I have it actually marked right here. You can see that gold is a very old market. It's a very old market. TradingView tracks it all the way back to 1834. TradingView gives almost 200 years of charted history on gold, the spot price. And especially when Bretton Woods ended, it started going absolutely crazy, right? We saw gold was an extraordinarily mature market. In fact, gold is arguably, alongside real estate and like fresh water, one of the most mature markets in the history of the world by the time the gold shares ETF, the SPDR Gold Shares ETF comes around. It's one of the most mature markets in history. Gold has been traded since the dawn of mankind. The ETF launches and gold rallies vertical for 7 years. 370% in 7 years. Most mature market in the world, almost quintuples. So you mean to tell me that we're just repeating 2021 with the ETF launching back here? Launching right here? Bitcoin has only about doubled since then. There is an enormous amount of bullishness to come. You will look back on the Bitcoin chart in 10 years, and you will see that Bitcoin not only did the exact same thing that gold did, it did it much faster. In year 6 of the ETF, it saw $20 billion of inflows. In year 1... In year 1 of the Bitcoin ETFs, we saw $35 billion of inflows. Remember, the ETFs launched basically beginning of the year 2024. Call it January 15th. By January 15th of this year, a year later, there was $38 billion of cumulative inflows. $38 billion. And that's not slowing down anytime soon. We've added $15 billion in the last 4 months. In the first 10 years, gold failed to do that in a year, one time. One time. Don't even get me started on the Ethereum ETF. The Ethereum ETF's almost outperforming the gold ETF. That's crazy. It's Ethereum. I love Ethereum and all, but it ain't gold. It ain't Bitcoin. It's almost outperforming gold. And you're bearish on this market? Are you crazy? Have you lost your ever-loving mind? Here, take a look at this. Let me pull up this chart. Pull up a couple of others here. We're talking about volatility. We're talking about gold. We're talking about where Bitcoin's going. Let's see if I can find this chart. Is this the chart I'm looking for? Yeah. So, this is cumulative flows of the Bitcoin and gold ETFs. Now, the reason this goes back to 2018 is because of the Grayscale ETF. But you can see right when the you can see the amount of outflows out of the gold ETFs, the cumulative flows, the cumulative outflows out of the gold ETFs. And you can see the cumulative flows going into the Bitcoin ETFs. The world is moving away from gold. It's moving towards Bitcoin. Here's another one. And this is also extremely outdated. Like this chart is massively outdated. This chart is incredibly outdated. These are days after launch, I think. Is this days after launch? Yeah. So this is the difference between the net Bitcoin ETF inflows and the gold inflows. Inflation adjusted. Adjusted for inflation. Do you see the difference? Like, this is ridiculous, man. BlackRock's ETF alone passed the $10 billion mark in 7 weeks. It took GLD 2 years to get there. Can you understand that people are plain and simply more interested in Bitcoin than they are in gold? They are exponentially more interested in Bitcoin than they are in gold. There's an enormous amount of care and interest that goes into Bitcoin. So, what does that mean? If we saw, let's start applying this to some technical analysis, and then we'll read some chat. Drop your questions in chat. 2004 is a lot different than 2024. Oh, yeah, you're right. In 2024, we have way more people concerned about inflation than we did in 2004. So we would expect that Bitcoin's ETF would perform even better than GLD's because people were not anywhere near as concerned about inflation and government spending in 2004 as they are now. Totally agree. You're right. Very different environment. Much more bullish for Bitcoin. So, from the inception of the GLD ETF, 2,500 days later, we saw a 310% movement. 2,500 days, 310% movement. Sounds big. It's actually pretty conservative. If we were to do the same thing on Bitcoin, which let's not forget that, Bitcoin is most likely going to be significantly more bullish, like massively more bullish. 310% in 2,500 days would put Bitcoin, if Bitcoin just did what gold did, that would put Bitcoin at $203,000 by 2030. Now, does it make sense that a market at the time of the Bitcoin ETF launch that was 14 years old, which had not reached mass adoption 6,000 years earlier, and that has a limited fixed supply? Gold has a pseudo fixed supply, but it inflates by 2 to 3% every year, similarly to the dollar. In theory, gold's great, but it's not actually. It inflates at about the same rate as what they say the dollar should, because they mine more of it. There's more gold out there that can be discovered, that can be mined. So shouldn't Bitcoin be far more bullish than 310% in 2,500 days? 2,500 days from the launch of the Bitcoin ETF is basically 2030. Should Bitcoin be twice as bullish as what we saw out of the gold ETF? If so, that'd put Bitcoin at $350,000 by the end of the decade. That's a 3.5x from here. Should Bitcoin 10x within 6 years after the GLD launch, after the launch of the ETF? I think that's realistic. I think 500K Bitcoin by 2030 makes a lot of sense. Makes a whole lot of sense. And so that gives us the context and the framing that we need to come back to our argument for today. Is Bitcoin about to go into a bear market? I can say with an enormous amount of confidence, no, we are not about to go into a bear market. I don't think that. I don't think that at all. That makes no sense to me. What makes a lot more sense to me is that institutions are buying as much Bitcoin as they possibly can over the counter, and after they've loaded their bags down as heavy as they can get them, they're going to pump the ever-loving crap out of the price, and you're going to see an enormous moonshot on Bitcoin happen so fast. And Bitcoin will shoot straight up to 125, then 150, and it'll probably rally straight up to 200. I don't believe that we should throw the 4-year halving cycle out yet. But I do think that the ETFs have changed things in such a dramatic way that we really need to consider whether or not Bitcoin is going to continue tracking with the 4-year halving cycle or not. We need to start considering whether or not Bitcoin is going to track with M2 money and whether or not it's going to track with what gold did after its ETF launches. We have seen a massive bull market, and it is far from over. And going back to our original point here, the lower volatility on the 3-daily chart gives us the confidence to say that a large breakout is probably going to happen at some point in the next couple of days. Oh, no, excuse me, the next couple of weeks. We saw, for example, Bitcoin sat here in this constricted space on the 3-daily chart Bollinger Bands for 40 days. We saw Bitcoin over here stay in this constricted space on the Bollinger Bands for like 90 days. Here we saw Bitcoin stay in this constricted space on Bollinger Band for like 10 days. If you average it out, looking at the last 3 opportunities that Bitcoin saw constricted Bollinger Bands, but we also saw the same thing happen here. We were only there for a few days. We saw it happen here. We were only there for about a month. You see that after Bollinger Bands get extremely constricted like this, you're probably only going to be there for about a month. I would anticipate at this point in time that we're going to see a major breakout on Bitcoin at some point in the next 2 to 4 weeks. Our original prediction when we came up here and we rejected off of 112 and we back tested is we said around July 15th, I would expect that Bitcoin would be breaking bullish. I still think that there's a good chance that that could happen. It may take longer than that, and that's okay. Part of the reason this is difficult to ascertain is that the Bitcoin cycles are getting longer. They're getting bigger. We're seeing lengthening cycles. Even just those intermarket movements like these, they're getting bigger. The steps are taking longer, and that's a sign of what we're seeing that's a sign of what we're seeing with the maturing of the market. You're seeing things take longer. So, what should you be doing as an investor? In my opinion, it is very important to not wait forever. It's very important not to wait forever to invest. The book of Ecclesiastes has something very important to say on this. Ecclesiastes 11:4 says, "He that observeth the wind shall not sow, and he that regardeth the clouds shall not reap." In the ESV, that says, "He who observes the wind will not sow, and he who regards the clouds will not reap." What that basically means is that if you get so caught up in trying to figure out when the best time to put your seed in the ground, you're never going to put your seed in the ground, and you're never going to have any plants. If you get, and this is just as applicable today as it was 3,000 years ago. Remember, Ecclesiastes was written by who? The teacher. Who is the teacher? The teacher was Solomon, the richest man that ever lived at the time, and to this day, the wisest man that ever lived. He said that when you spend all of your time pondering exactly when you ought to enter into an investment, such as putting seed in the ground, then you will never put seed in the ground. And this is the entry and the exit. This is literally, this is 3,000-year-old manuscript, 2,800-year-old manuscript talking about entries and exits of trades, basically. He who observeth the wind will not sow. What does sow mean? It means buy. It means plant. Enter into a trade. Enter into an investment. He who observes the wind will not sow. He who overanalyzes the markets will not invest. And he who regards the clouds will not reap. In other words, he who tries to figure out where the top is will not take profits. That's literally exactly what it means. It's just talking about the same concept in the realm of planting crop. That's exactly what it means. If you focus so much on the analysis, you will never buy. And if you focus so much on the analysis, you will never sell. So why do analysis? We do analysis because we do want to try and get as much understanding of the market as we can. This verse does not mean that farmers don't understand wind. It does not mean that farmers do not understand clouds. It does not mean that farmers do not understand when the rains will come or when the seasons will come. Of course they do. If you want to know when the next time it's going to rain and what that rain's going to look like, if you want to know how hot it's going to be this summer, what the dew point's going to be, you can ask a meteorologist or you can ask a farmer. Honestly, the farmer probably knows as much or more than the meteorologist because their entire career is based on it. Of course they analyze. Of course they know what the weather's like. Of course they understand their climate. Of course they've done an inordinate amount of research on that. But if they spend all of their time doing analysis and none of their time investing, then they will never buy and they will never sell. They will never invest and they will never reap. They will never plant seeds and they will never harvest them. And all of that analysis will be for nothing if you don't do anything with it. That's the point. The point is not to not do analysis. If you ever met a successful farmer who has no idea when it's going to rain next, I mean, come on. Duh, he analyzes the climate, obviously. But he doesn't get so caught up in the timing that he never actually plants seed in the ground. And so my first lesson for you today about investment is that everything that I've just said should only encourage you to act, not to wait for a correction. It is biblical wisdom that if there is an endeavor in front of you that will most likely be successful, don't get so caught up in the timing that you never actually set out. There's a much more recent proverb that's not in the book of Ecclesiastes. I forgot who said it, but it wasn't Ali. It was one of the fighters that, plans are great until you get punched in the face. Who said that? Somebody help me out in the chat. Who said that? Planning's great until you get punched in the freaking face. Was that Mike Tyson? Somebody said that. I forgot who said that. Planning's great until you get punched in the freaking face. It's a great idea to understand the markets. It's not such a great idea to overanalyze the markets to such a point that you get so particular about where your entry is that you never enter in the first place. What do I mean by that? Here's what we do. When we have disposable cash, we invest it. We maintain our 3 to 6 months emergency fund. We maintain a posture of being debt-free because our financial portfolio should be building and edifying our spiritual life so that we can be a whole person. We can be sovereign and we can be in control. And when we have disposable income, it was Mike Tyson, yeah. When we have disposable income, because we've done a good job making money, we've done a good job providing value to somebody, then what we do is we put it in the market. We put it in the market. So that's the first lesson with the investment side of things. Don't get so caught up on the exact day that you're going to enter. And don't get so caught up on the exact day that we're going to break out. I see people doing the same thing all the time. Like, Jeb, I get it that it's frustrating. We're trying to get the timing right on when Bitcoin's going to break out. I understand. Listen, I'm frustrated. I would love to see Bitcoin go to 125. I hope it goes to I hope it breaks above all-time high by July 15th, like we said. That was our original prediction from a little over a month ago. Was we broke we break through all-time high at about July 15th. That was our original prediction. I want that too. But let's not get so caught up about the timing of the correction to get the perfect entry, and let's not get so caught up about the timing of when it's going to rain next. I mean, when we're going to break through all-time high, that we get stuck in paralysis of analysis and we don't enter. I did this for years, guys. I would analyze the markets every day. I knew more about the Bitcoin market than just about anybody on planet Earth. And you know what I wasn't doing? Buying. Do you know how many years I spent sitting on hundreds of thousands of dollars of cash, way more cash than I needed to be secure? And I could have dumped it into Bitcoin. I could have dozens more Bitcoin right now if I had have done exactly what I just told you to do, which is don't get so caught up on the analysis that you never buy. I would probably have over 50 Bitcoin by now if I hadn't have done that. We still have a handsome amount of Bitcoin, don't get me wrong, and I have been buying consistently and following my own advice here for a long time now. But for the first several years, why in the world was I spending so much time analyzing the market and not just a little bit of that time buying it? So that's what we're going to say today on the investment side of things. Get an entry. I don't care if I enter at 98 or if I enter at 108. It's going to $1 million. I don't care that I paid $10,000 for $10,000 more for the Bitcoin than I could have. I did buy at 98, and I bought at 97, and I bought at 95, and I bought at 92, and I bought at 73, and I've been buying and buying and buying and buying and buying and buying and buying. I'm going to take the entry that's right in front of me. and I'm going to wait. And you know what's going to happen? It's going to make money. You know where I also saw this? Michael Saylor. I don't think he's perfect, but I love his counsel on this. He always says, I'm going to be buying the top forever. I love that. What a great sentiment. I don't care what the price of Bitcoin is because it's going higher and it's going to outpace everything. I don't give a crap what my entry is. It's going to go up. So what? You know what El Salvador did? They started buying a Bitcoin every single day right before the bear market started. They bought Bitcoin at $68,000, rode it all the way down to the bottom with the IMF on their back, kept buying, and now they've made like $400 million because they did that. Bought a Bitcoin every day, regardless of the price. It's ruthless consistency. Can you buy Bitcoin on a regular basis? Can you make investments on a regular basis for years? The best investments you will ever make in Bitcoin are not the investments that you made as low as possible. The best investments you will ever make on Bitcoin are the ones that you made as early as possible. 90% of the time, at least. They'll be the investments that you made a long time ago and you forgot about, and you came back and you said, whoa. Wow. Please, please, please don't watch the clouds so much that you never sow. As far as trading, what should we do with trading? Here's my deal. I'm in a 10x leverage long right now. I highly doubt that Bitcoin's ever going to see $97,000 again, or at least anytime soon. It's a risk, obviously. You can get liquidated, but I think it's extremely unlikely that Bitcoin goes back down to 97. I think it's most likely that Bitcoin goes through a major uptrend above 112 over the next couple of months. And if we do start going down to 100K, I will add margin to it because I trust that Bitcoin will go into a major rally. I'm extraordinarily confident in that. If we drop down to 100, I think you're going to bounce and you're going to go into a major rally. So that's what we're doing with trading right now. I'm in a 10x, pretty simple leverage long, expecting Bitcoin to go up to 125 to 140, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens there. That's what I'm doing. It's very simple. Very simple. Trades basically something like this. And the reason that I let it be that askew and not that great of a risk to reward ratio is because I'm that confident that Bitcoin's going to go up. I am extremely confident that Bitcoin's going to go up. So that's kind of the trade that we're in right now. And what I would also love to show you is where I'm recommending trading. I highly recommend our new trading partner, guys, which is Tubbit. If you guys have not already seen it, which you probably haven't, because Tubbit is blowing up all over the world, but they're just kind of making a break into the American market. Tubbit is a fantastic cryptocurrency exchange with over 1,000 cryptocurrencies. I've just started using Tubbit. I've done a bunch of research on them, done a ton of research on Tubbit, moving everything here, starting to use this exchange. Very much a fan of it. They've got absolutely everything that you need, a trading order book that you're going to be very familiar with. They do have perps here. You've got leverage that you can use. Obviously, be careful with leverage, but there's a lot of wealth that you can generate with it if you know how to do it. They've got all the different things that you're going to need. They've got demo trading here, which is really nice. This is good for you guys who are just getting started trading. This is really cool here. You can start out with some margin. I think they start out with like $10,000 of margin. You can go play around in there and get used to leverage trading with that starting capital, so you can start trading and getting used to everything. Then there's also trading bots. You've got all kinds of different trading bots that you can use over here to generate wealth. This is very interesting. This is super cool. This is AI strategy that is generating a return. So you can kind of deploy some of your capital over here and let some bots do some trading for you. Algorithmic trading is something that's been going on for 30, 40 years. It's gotten extremely advanced and it generally works pretty well. So that's something I'm going to be experimenting with, showing you guys how that works for me. Something I want to get more into. One thing to let you guys know also is that Tubbit is kind of built in partnership with another big exchange that you may know. They are working with Bybit, so Bybit supports Tubbit here. So very exciting integration there. A big name that you will know. They've got a great website here, and it is in the process of going through a major update as well. They've been on CoinGecko, Cointelegraph, CoinMarketCap, Chain Analysis, and everything. TradingView. They've got about, I don't know where it shows it here. Let's see. I think it shows it right up here. Yeah, that's right. 3.6, just about 3.6 million registered users on Tubbit in over 1,100 trading pairs. $12.7 billion in trading volume over the last 24 hours. And we've got a really cool promotion with Tubbit that I want to share with you right now. And that would be this massive sign-up bonus that you're going to get access to if you sign up right now. So let me go ahead and make sure that that is in the description. I don't know that it is, so I thought it was, but let me go ahead and make sure that that's in there. Oh, look at that. It's not in the description. Let me pull that up and make sure that gets into the description real quick. But real quick, while I'm pulling that up, I'll go ahead and let you know what it is. When you sign up for Tubbit with our link, you're going to be able to get access to some massive sign-up bonuses that you're going to really love. Let me grab this campaign right here and put it in the description. I'll show you, you can earn up to $30,000 in rewards when you sign up with Tubbit. Let's put this in the description box. There we go. So if you update the page and you look at the description, then you'll be able to see our exclusive campaign that we're running with Tubbit right now, where you can get some free money. So if you click on that link, you will come over to this website. I think I'm going to have to go into a different browser. Yep, I'm already logged in, so I'm going to have to go into a different browser to show you what it's going to look like on your end. But if you go to that link, it's going to look something like this. Here we go. Oops, sorry. Put the link in wrong. Let's try that again. If you go to that link in the description box, you're going to be brought over to our invite link. You'll see my little face right there. And you can earn up to $30,000 in exclusive benefits over the next 7 days. Now, this is only active for about a week, so this isn't going to last forever. But when you deposit $100, you're going to get $30. How's a 30% return instantly? I mean, come on. Deploy $100, get $30 instantly. That's incredible. If you deposit $500 and do $30,000 of trading volume, you'll get $100 in rewards. If you deposit $5,000 and do $800,000 in trading volume, you'll get $500. $8,000, $1,500, $1.5 million of trading volume, you'll get $800, and so forth and so on, all the way up here. If you deposit $150,000, do $25 million of trading volume, which is nothing for some of you guys, you will get $30,000. How's that for a return? $150,000 turned into 30 grand. That's a 20% return almost immediately. You can get a 10% return here. If you do $100,000, do $9 million of trading, you'll get $10,000. So if you're a big trader in the cryptocurrency space, why not move on over to Tubbit, use their awesome platform, and start trading today? It's a great platform. It's where we are moving all of our trading over to. They've got copy trading here. They've got all the bots. They've got perps. They've got all of your spot trading if you want to do that. They've got DEX stuff right here that's really cool, and they've got a ton of markets. And they've also, just in general, have a lot of different cool features here. So I don't know for sure, but I think this stacks. You get $20 when you do your first deposit. And I think if you do that with our link, you might get 50. You might get 20 and then 30. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. First trade, you're going to get $20. So a lot of really cool ways to just generate some quick and easy returns here while you get used to Tubbit. So make sure to join them. It's a major exchange, a lot of growth going on in the U.S. markets, and I really appreciate it. We're going to be doing a lot of trading over there, so you're going to be seeing a lot of Tubbit, so stay tuned, and yeah, really excited about that. Cool. Let's watch and read a little bit more chat, and then we're going to keep it moving here. Mike Tyson, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. That's right. Jeb calling me out personally there with the constant analyzing but not buying. Yeah, I mean, you know, about 4 months ago, I realized, man, I'm just sitting on a few $100,000 of cash that I just don't need to be sitting on. Like, it was much more than the 3 to 6 months of emergency fund that I teach. I was like, why have I not deployed more of this into Bitcoin? I'm analyzing it every day. Why haven't I dumped more of this into Bitcoin? I mean, I've been a whole coiner for, oh gosh, like 7 years. But like, why had I not moved, you know, about a couple $100,000 into Bitcoin? And so I did, and I was very happy I did. And so, you know, got to increase our position over there, and it was a good thing I did. And we've seen major returns because we moved, you know, well over $100,000 into Bitcoin, sub 90. And so, you know, we got a whole other coin down there, and a little bit more than that. And that's had a huge return. And so that's an investment that we made at this point 2 to 3 months ago. And then we put a lot more money into Bitcoin up here around 100 to 110. And so why not just dump money into Bitcoin and give it time. It's going to do better in Bitcoin than it's going to do in the dollar. So I do highly encourage you to keep a 3 to 6 months emergency fund. That's one of the steps in the financial sovereignty way that we teach because of what that does to you spiritually. But at the same time, I do highly recommend, don't overanalyze to the point where you don't invest, because you need to have some investments. You need to have some money that you say, I'm not touching this because I want it or need it. I'm leaving it just hanging out. Mark Liano said a few $100,000 in cash just sitting around. I'd like to have your problems. Yeah, well, I mean, I've been very blessed. Yeah, that's obviously a good problem to have. Also, send the 1 Bitcoin to receive the 2. Yeah, don't ever do that. There's no such thing as Bitcoin doubling. That's there's not an infinite duplication glitch in Bitcoin. It's not Minecraft, guys. Let's see. Faith, a grain of a mustard seed. Yep, that's right. 0.1% subs and views. Is YouTube damping the crypto channels? Kind of. I don't know. I think people are just bored right now. I think people are bored right now with Bitcoin is the main thing. They're waiting for a movement. I think you're going to see everybody's viewership quadruple when Bitcoin breaks out again. All right, let's see a little bit more. Farmers always know when it's going to rain. Lol, I'm a farmer and have the weather app. Okay, Christopher Ryans, you're a farmer. How about that? You're like Christopher Ryans. Lol, I'm a farmer. Okay, so is Solomon right or wrong? He who observes the wind will not sow, and he who regards the clouds will not reap. Solomon is not saying, right there. Solomon is not saying not to pay attention to the weather. Duh, a farmer's going to pay attention to the weather. I mean, Jesus, even when he came and had his ministry, talked about how you Pharisees, you can discern the whether it's going to rain tomorrow or not based on the clouds, but you can't discern the signs of the times. Obviously, there's a great deal of discernment in farming about what is going to happen with the weather. But it's true that if you spend so much time analyzing it that you never put seed in the ground, you're going to do this thing, and it's called starving. And obviously I don't know anything about that, but I would imagine it's very painful. So don't do the same thing with your investment. Don't spend so much time analyzing the market that you never buy the market. All right. And guys, there is going to be a lot more content in alts because I think altcoins are going to have a huge opportunity at some point in the next few months. As Bitcoin goes into its next phase of the rally, I do think that altcoins are going to get significantly more bullish. Currently looking for some other trades on the alts. A little bit skeptical to go into them because we don't have a defined alt season. But if you guys see any trades on altcoins that you'd like to share, definitely tell us in the chat. And I'm still considering making that trading group. I think you guys will really enjoy it. So something I'm thinking about. Let me know if you are interested in me starting a trading group where I'll be able to talk with you guys more about my trades. You guys can share your trades with me. We can learn from each other. I would love to learn from you guys. I'd love to teach you guys. I'd love for some of the people that I know to join in there, show some of their trades, because I know a lot of very profitable traders. I really think it'd be fun to build that Discord server out. So tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. Should we build? Drop a 1 in chat if you think we should. Should we build a trading group? I have a name picked out and everything for it. I pretty much know what it's going to look like. I know what all the channels are going to look like. So very excited about that. So tell me what you guys think. I appreciate you all being here. We're going to wrap it out. We're about to go shoot today's video. And keep giving me feedback, guys. Be brutal. I mean, be kind if you can. But give me honest feedback. Tell me, what do you think that we need to improve on? I am always thinking about ways that I can do a better job as a business owner, as an investor, as a trader, as a husband, as a father, and just in general as a Christian human being. So if you ever have any feedback, feel free to tell us. I'd love to hear it. We always want to improve here at McAfee Media, our company. And I look forward to seeing you guys in that trading group if we so decide to launch it, and also look forward to seeing you guys in the next piece of content. If you have not already, make sure to sign up for Tubbit. Go get access to some of these big rewards. Again, remember, you're going to be able to get some massive rewards. By the way, it does stack, by the way. New users who register with a valid invite code will receive a $50 welcome bonus, and you will double your bonus when you trade with perp futures over $1,000 US. So you get $50 for free, and after you've done $1,000 in trading, that doubles to be $100. And that also stacks with depositing $100, you get $30. So right out the gate, just depositing $100, doing $1,000 of trading, you're going to get $130 for free. And then as you deposit more money and trade more money, you're going to get bigger bonuses as you go while getting access to the best cryptocurrency exchange for trading in the game. It's the exchange that I'm moving to. Very excited to be in partnership with Tubbit. So make sure if you have not already to sign up with the link in the description box down below. More content on that coming soon. But before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.